Hey guys, welcome back to Stock Tricks with Nick. I know usually get these recaps out on Friday night. I had my actuarial exam yesterday, so coming in a little bit late on this one, but still wanted to report how the week went, especially because we had a pretty good week. Finally breaking a 4-week losing streak with $1,000, a little bit over $1,000 profit, and up 2.95% on the portfolio. Saw a lot of the growth stocks that we typically trade start breaking out, and those breakouts actually holding. So starting to get some traction, build up the portfolio. Got a couple notable winners here. CRSR 38%, TWST 14, Tupperware at 13, and TCS at 11. Notable losers. I always try to keep my losers very small, keep tight stops. So all this under 7%, with CRDF being the largest one at 6.3. In this recap, we'll be going over each of these trades and a couple others that I have listed that I'm still holding over the weekend. If you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Stock Tricks with Nick, and follow me on StockTwits and Twitter. And with that, let's jump to the charts. All right. I did add this new feature here where if I type in a stock and I put a segment in there, you can see the 43% move, a little bit cleaner. I know in prior live streams that we've done, you guys have asked for that, so trying to get that to you. So let's just jump in with the biggest winner here, CRSR. You can see all the trades that I've put on in the past. Got shaken out twice before, but that's why you don't throw away a quality setup just because it shakes you out, because it could set up for a very large winner. So took the trade first when it broke out over the previous high here. That got stopped out. Tried it again, got stopped out. And then finally on 11/13, bought in at, let's see here. Yeah, bought in at 29.13. Since that point, it's been very, very smooth sailing after these first two stops. So you could just see continue closes over the upper Bollinger Band as volumes increasing. When you do close above the upper Bollinger Band after they start constricting, that's more of a bullish move than how people typically use the Bollinger Bands, where they're trading inside a channel, buying at the low, selling at the high. I use them for breakout stocks. So since my buy-in point, it's up about 38%. And I did sell some into strength. I'm down to about a third of my position right now. But that one's been a strong winner. Oh, and I forgot. Let's jump to this. I made a new slide to kind of show each of my holdings and a breakdown of that. So you can see I'm 66.8% net long invested right now, so 33.2% cash. A little bit over what I expected, because the past couple of weeks we haven't had much success with the growth stocks. A lot of choppy trading, very news related, with the vaccines coming out and tanking the growth stocks last week. But we found a lot of traction at the beginning of this week, and that has held up through the rest of the week. So I am over 50% invested now. But because we're just starting to get some traction, you'll see a lot of positions on, but all at very small sizes. So I have 17 open positions. All of them are under 10% of my portfolio size, with only 3 above 5%. So that's not typically how I want to be trading. I want to concentrate my money to a few really quality stocks, really good setups. But right now, as we're just starting to get some traction, we're trying to find out what names are working, what types of setups are working. And once we get that feedback, I'll get stopped out of some of these, tighten up those positions, and then start investing in just the winners. So 17 positions open right now, but none of them are short positions either. So this is the list. We'll go through a couple of these today. Sorry. All right, so that was CRSR. Let's jump to TWST. This was the first trade that I actually got some traction with. Just drawing the line here. Bought with a break over this little cup and handle. Got in at 101.01, and since then, let me pull this down a little bit. Sold some into strength through here just because I was having no luck getting stocks working, so wanted to lock in some profit, offset some losses earlier. But since that point, pulled back, never undercut its 8-day exponential moving average, and has been really strong the rest of the week. So I'm up 15% on that, 14%-ish. And we do have earnings coming up on the 23rd. So I have my 10% position or 10% profit that I'll need to hold into earnings. If we pull back from that, I'll probably sell some more, but we'll see how earnings go next week. TUP. This was a really solid breakout. So this is one that Leif put out on his trading site, where once it broke under the 8-day and undercut some of these lows, that's what you like to see if you're not already in the stock. You like to see it undercut the lows, get those stop losses out, and after it then rallied that same day to break over the previous day's high, that was the buy point that was put out. So took the trade then with the break over the previous day's high after undercutting those lows, and you could see right from the gun the next day that worked up around 14% on that move. There you go. Up around 14% on that move, and then just kind of moving sideways since then. You do see a large volume increase on that up day, which you like to see. TCS, this is currently my largest holding right now. Since Tupperware was working, again, this is another Leif stock. We wanted to do another container type store, so this is actually the container store. Bought in at $9.92 with a very small position size, and then added to that with a break over the previous high on that day at 10:15-ish. And since that point, we see two large volume up days, which is exactly what you like to see. And then Friday, we broke over kind of the local high point here, and this is going, looks like it's going to be testing all-time highs now. So I'm glad that this is the position that I have the most in. Again, it's not too much, 7-ish%, but a quality setup that looks to be breaking out with high volume. All right, so let's go over some of the losing setups that we traded. CRDF. This one, you can see I've been trading this a while because if we zoom out all the way here, you can see just in the last couple months, this is up 1,300%. So lots of power in this name. We definitely want to keep an eye on this and keep trading. But this was one of my losers this week, where I bought over the break of the previous high, and then the next day just got stopped out immediately as it undercut all the previous lows and undercut the 20-day simple moving average. So you don't win them all. You want to keep your stops tight, especially during the market that we've had, low position sizes, tight stops, and finally finding some traction. But this got stopped out on Wednesday, and since then it has turned back up. So we'll keep an eye on this. Maybe it'll pull back again, and then we could use the previous high right through here as a buy point. That's CRDF. FOUR. This is one. You got your cup, got your handle. So bought with the break over the previous high there. Got in a little bit later at 60.75. And then you can see I was hoping that this would just go retest the highs and break out. But it just turned down, so got stopped out there. GPI is next. Had this nice breakout of 51%, and then a pullback from there of 25%, Never undercut the 50-day simple moving average, so some strength there. Then created this local high point here, or the pivot point that I used to buy the stock on this red candle day right here. So I bought as it broke over that high. That was basically the high of the trade. Squatted that day, and then the next day undercut the lows, so I took that for a loss. And the final losing stock we have is APPS apps. Saw this again, zooming out here. This guy's been really strong. Let's see, 550%. Got hit hard here. Let's see, what did that fall all the way down to? So right at that 40%, that's usually my threshold. I don't like to trade stocks that have dipped under 40% from their highs because there's going to be a lot of overhead, a lot of traders stuck at these higher ranges. So when the stock goes higher, a lot of these guys are willing to get out at break even. So you saw a quick bounce back from that pullback, and that got sold off. So kind of like what I was expecting. So after that pullback, then I started getting interested. I used the break over this day's high as my buy point. And again, that was basically the high price until I got stopped out 2 days later as it undercut some previous lows. The next day, I was frustrated because the stock immediately started moving, breaking out. It was up maybe 10% or so early on in the day, and then squatted, sold off the rest of the day, and closed under the 8-day exponential moving average. So I was like, okay, I did the right thing. And then we had Thursday, Friday, a lot of the growth stocks were working, so it bounced back up. So we'll keep an eye on this. Maybe a break over previous high here. That would be 43.57. Might be a buy point. Let's go through a couple names that I'm still holding. We got NET. You can see I tried to trade a pullback buy right there after, what is this? 40% breakout. Got stopped out pretty quickly after that. Post earnings, I've been keeping an eye on this because it's been holding up really well. Look at the relative strength there compared to the QQQs. So was always interested in this guy. Once it broke over, again, this is one of those candles where it opened low, undercut all the previous lows, so all those stops got hit, and then it rallied all day and didn't quite break over the previous high, or if it did, it wasn't by much. But that got me interested in the stock, and then bought with a break over the previous day's high, so almost right away the next day. Got in at 65.43, and since then just kind of traded sideways, but has been coiling really nicely, holding up after this move. It's basically at all-time highs right now, and relative strength is still showing well. So that's NET. Let's go Snapchat. Traded this before on this breakout over this this pivot right here. And then we got the vaccine news, so a lot of the tech names sold off, got stopped out of that trade. And then used this guy's high as my buy point, so that was 41.31. Fill that 41.80. So, or was it? Yeah, okay. I used this guy's high, 11.12. Sorry, of 41.80 as my buy point as we pulled back. And on this pullback, undercut the low here, which again, you'd like to see if you're not already in the stock. I was already in the stock, but can't do much about that. So bought with the break over that, and then had some follow through on Friday. Nice large green candle, volume picking up as this is moving to retest all-time highs. Let's go TTD. This was a pullback buy for me, so let's just tell the story here. The last couple months, maybe 2 months or so, up 92%, really strong move. Has pulled back after earnings to the 8-day exponential moving average, had this nice little jump day and then pulled back again, giving me a clean buy point at that day's high. That was 761.92. eased myself into this position. I only bought one share at the initial buy point here, and then after it held up the next day, we added to it. After this small red day, you can see the volume on the sell day was much less than the volume on the 2 buying days leading into that, so that shows me some good relative strength. So after we broke over the previous day's high there, I put on another share. Again, not trying to do anything crazy, just easing myself back into the market with a lot of different positions, seeing what's working. And this had higher highs, higher lows on Friday, and great relative strength through here. So we'll see how this does when it tests all-time highs. SPWR, another monster. If you're just watching the channel for the first time, we only trade really strong growth stocks that have maybe gone quiet or pulled back to a meaningful moving average before buying again. I'm not trying to buy stocks that have fallen more than 40% from their highs. So this guy, you can see 370% in just a couple months through there. Zooming in to get the picture, had this really nice coil through there. Did not trade that because that was getting into the election, but broke out, pulled back, rode that 8-day really well. That held great support, and then just put on a buy over this guy's high. From there, did sell some in on Friday as we extended over the upper Bollinger Band. You can see if it was closer to here where this just keeps running, then I would keep running with it. But as these bands are already slightly extended, wanted to sell some into there, book some profits, and move my stop to my entry to keep it a basically risk-free trade minus any gap downs that may happen. 4 more we go. We got pins. So Pinterest here. This was a break over the local high here as the buy point. This is really early on. Higher highs, higher lows on Friday, but if you look, Pinterest has been very, very strong here with one pullback, which undercut all the lows and did close that gap. Didn't quite close the gap, but kind of served the purpose of moving lower to stop a lot of weaker hands out. Since then, look at all these green candles. I would not be surprised to see just a quick pullback to the 8-day moving average, 8-day exponential moving average, which also correlates with this volume shelf right there. So strong support around the 63.50 range. But we'll see if this just keeps running to all-time highs. ENPH. See this little cup handle. I tried a pivot buy point right here where pulled back to the 8-day or the 20-day simple moving average, moved higher, then held the 8-day as support there, and bought with a break over this guy's high. So that was 122.26. Got filled at 122.53, so not too much slippage on that. Since then, really easy trade to hold. Every day has been higher highs, higher lows. Did sell some to lighten up the position, but still looks pretty good. AMD took that on Friday, so zoom out here. Really strong move in, what was that, August? 71%. Had a couple pullbacks, but you can see now the VCP action is moving. We got a pullback of 22% from high to low, pullback of 16%, pullback of 11%, and a tiny one of 3.5%. So VCP, volatility contraction pattern, is where after a breakout, a stock has consecutive pullbacks of less and less magnitude. Ideally, when you're buying as the volume has gotten very, very quiet and it's moving over a pivot buy point, which is where I bought on Friday. So this is lining up a lot of my setup setup criteria. So volatility contraction pattern, strong stock, really tight action through here as volume is really drying up, showing good relative strength, nothing crazy there. Has this volume shelf as support right where I'm buying. I bought with a break over 11.17's high. And then on Friday, just kind of moved sideways on that action, but has the support of the volume shelf, 8-day, 50-day, 20-day, as this is coiled nice and tight. We got volume getting quiet, relative strength holding up. Let's see if this can really start popping. And finally, we have TCON. This was one of those moves that just popped immediately. Again, this was a VCP pattern before, so you can see, well, after a 216% move higher, you got a 36% pullback from high to low, a 26% pullback from high to low, and about 10, and then started breaking out. I had to protect my stop, so got stopped out of that, unfortunately, just before it really took off here on this volume day. But just because I missed that one move, I didn't throw the stock away. Wanted to keep an eye on it to see how it reacted. Maybe it's set up for another play, and that's exactly what happened. We saw a kind of inside day here, and then set a double top right at, I think it was like 797. So I put my buy order in after this low on Wednesday, undercut all those previous lows, so getting those stop losses out of the way. Put my buy order on at 801, got filled at 801, and then it just kept moving up through there. Let's see, I think this was like a 14% move on the day. Yeah, 14% move on the day. Sold some into strength that day. Yesterday, we had a lower volume day with a longer, lower wick, which means buyers came in at these prices right at basically where the resistance was before. Now that we've closed past resistance, it becomes support on the other way. So again, not a huge position size, but quality setup here, breaking out to all-time highs, or at least, I don't know if this is all-time highs, probably not. No, not all-time highs, but relative highs with the volume pattern that I like. So that is what we got for today. We had a $1,000 week, which is great. We're getting back into it, snapping that cold streak. I will be doing a watch list video tomorrow after I do some research on some stocks that are setting up. So if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to Stock Tricks with Nick. Follow me on StockTwits and Twitter, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.